destroying commerce courts using mutual checks on each other. Such Johnson 17 card Shepard governments means that courts and executive agencies interpret legislation so lots of tyranny because their unitary executive gets the states for running the gamut. That's their Psalm 17 card practice tyranny and structural violence. Law and order reflects elected officials directing neoconservatives cause repression however they want, and in fact is warned it incentivizes Trump to commit adventures with military strikes and aggression that cause power. That's our Muslim 17 card. The plan calls that's our Will IT card. The Cameron card that they're talking about argues that the administration will have a fourth branch. This is another reason to vote ACT. It means that the executive, which controls the agency, has the weight of two branches, aka double the power of the other three. This points to the massive imbalance in the status quo of separation of powers. Their ACT card is not an indictment of the ACT. Considering executive expertise is a good thing. It means that it doesn't mean necessarily that the courts are going to do whatever they say to do. It means that they're going to take their expertise into account, which means that their decisions are going to be informed. Moving on to the warming impact. Climate change will cause extinction the largest magnitude impact because ecological crisis causes a total poor. That's not particular nation states. That's our crib card. The Clean Power Plan is key because it sets substantial emissions targets, and the U.S. is one of the biggest polluters, and it precedes a sustainable law, incentivizes clean energy and innovation investment. That's our Sony UCC card. But Chevron allows the president to destroy the Clean Power Plan we solve by repealing Chevron. Onto their Warren card, it argues that the EPA doesn't solve because it's run by industry. This flows ACT. This is why we need checks and balances to make sure that agencies have to provide more justification for the actions should they need to defend them in court. The plan solves. And then moving on to also their argument that emissions causes warming is obviously BS. Here's a NASA article. The three main causes of global warming trend is human expansion of greenhouse effect, current gases in the atmosphere cause from escaping. We need to curb emissions. That's why we have the CPP and it's Try or Die Act. We need to be able to curb emissions as much as we can to stop warming. And then moving on to immigration flow. Sessions and abusing deference to agency interpretation in cases like deportation. Similarly, his minions are doing the same. This promoting structural violence to othering and racial subordination. That's our Hoffman Linden victory card. Alliances and better modeling are key to preventing mass deaths and global harms of refugees from international law violations and nuclear war extinction from alienation of island states. Our Anderson, Hardin, Murphy, Stillman, and Freeman cards for Dietrich and Amberson drove returning Chevron sells for most of this. Their seller card. The crux of this card is that the courts don't solve because they exert to the executive. This is the premise of the act we solve. Allen and Axler, they defer to the Anderson. They didn't read that, just kidding. Onto their Kagan card. Chevron impacts the immigration law outside of the context of deportation. That's what the card says. However, because of the massive overreach that still exists, i.e. detainment camps and etc., Chevron still applies to even if we don't help immigrants in court. That is an extremely narrow way to view how human rights violation and atrocities are committed against undocumented immigrants. Under sections, ICE was created by law, and the lack of transparency caused ICE to create camps where immigrants harass undocumented folks throughout illegal searches and commits rights violations in holding cell. This is outside the courtroom, and the lack of transparency is because we defer to the xenophobic president, and the agency Chevron solves because it forces Congress to make more transparent laws. Onto more of the line by line. They say that it collapsed the court system. However, this card doesn't even mention lower courts or deference, so ignore it. The Kagan seller cards I already talked about. Executive circumventing is not true because and the courts can still check things like executive orders, i.e. The Muslim ban was shot down by the courts. Also, the fact that Chevron is malleable, this is their vendor card, is a good thing. We need to be able to repeal it. The fact that it's this vague area in law means that we just need to get rid of it. And then also their second vendor card about how Chevron has been eroded. This doesn't defer to our uniqueness. The Chevron is still in place. Even if it's been eroded, we still need to get rid of it. And then also, and then cut that card. I'm not going to read it. They didn't read anything about that. And then moving on to the K. Framework, Dutch equation 1AC impacts and simulation of the plane is the mean to solve is Dutch equations against the alternative dependent material terms opportunity cost debate is the best for comparison, otherwise infinite philosophical frameworks, moots and reps of 1AC which kills fairness and education depending the outcome of the all is key to testing which political strategies are the best. In case outweighs and all can solve the war and extinction from instability, econ collapse stops any transition from past, all can solve since the fast implementation of repealing Chevron is key, and they must evaluate consequences until no other ethical option. ISECO 2. Moral punitive is complicit in judging politics about the effects rather than vote. It's important to ask of judges in prime matter moral absolution inhibits effectiveness. And the only